Right, so one thing I wanted to show you all, and one thing that I do on a regular basis, and mainly on weekends, but normally when we start hitting ranges like we have done, is applying a sort of regular strategy in the background, which complements the other strategies I'm using, which is to use the grid trading strategy that you get on Binance with their futures and their spot um, trading, but mainly the futures trading, so that you can get some nice leverage on when these coins are sort of going up and down in a fairly volatile way, because you need the trading to be bouncing around inside a range. But generally, when you know that it's going to go sideways for a while, which is usually about 80% of the time when you're trading, you see sideways action rather than sort of trending action. So it's usually my weekend strategy where I will start looking at the chart. I will let's just move that out of the way. I will tend to sort of again look at the sort of where the CME. I've got this CME gap indicator, so I will look where CME sort of ended and tend to sort of put some ranges around these sort of things. So, well, first of all, start with a big range. So I know that this is our range, and that's got a nice sort of median line there, which is relatively well respected so far. And we're hovering around that median at the moment. And then I'll put on a smaller range, which usually starts with sort of like the low and the highs of the weekend. I could put this down like so, which would give me, and this is normally how I probably do it with the CME gap at the median of this range. And then I would basically look to set up a grid bot. Grid bots are basically a automated buy and sell strategy, which allows you to sort of give a sort of regular interval between sort of where you start your trading. It will regularly put in sell orders all the way up to where you say is the high of your range, and then regularly put in buy orders down to the bottom of the range. And what it likes to do is it will obviously, where you start, you'll start with whatever fund you put into it, and then it will slowly sell that fund all the way up to the top. And then as it comes back down, it will regularly buy it. And you'll just make small amounts of profit incrementally as you go up and small amounts of profit incrementally as you go down. And so that's what it tends to do. And it's a nice way to spend your weekend without having to sort of regularly look at the charts. You know your bot is doing what it needs to do. So I have one set up on, I think I set one up on spot, but the futures grid here, you can see this is how you would do it in Binance. And to be honest, I would like Binance, if they can, to sort of give us a little bit more flexibility on how these charts look or how these pages are set up. I would love to be able to shrink this section and increase the chart section so I can see a bit more of what I'm doing. That's one thing I'd like them to do to make this a little bit better. And also, I'd love if they could give us this strategy in their sort of mock account setup. So if you're new to Binance and you're new to trading in general, I recommend that what you would do is within your account settings, you can set up a mock account. This is one of my sort of training accounts, one of the ones I've got set up just to do small testing type things. But I love to have sort of a account where I wouldn't have any funding or any money in there at all, and I can just use sort of fake money. And you can do that with Binance. You can set up, if you go to your Binance account, go to your futures account, just go to the USDM futures, and then within your sort of account here, you'll find that there's a mock account, and that will give you a sort of a play area where you can test your strategies and that. I'd love the same thing for sort of grid bots and everything like that. So that's another feature I'd love for Binance to give us. But for now, what I'd like to show you here is obviously you go into your futures grid. So again, go into your derivatives, go into your USD SM futures, sorry, and then click your futures grid. And then in here, what you can do is you can set up a manual one. You can do it automatically, but I prefer the manual. You set in your low price. So if you look at this range here, we've got from the 14th to the 18th, so similar to what I was showing you here, so the 14th to 18th. So if I was to set up a big range, as I'm sort of thinking, okay, maybe we range around in here for a while, which is what I posted in one of my tweets earlier this week. I would then set up here saying, okay, well, I've got a high now, so somewhere around the sort of 2,500. So I'd put in my upper price as 2,000 or 20,000, sorry, 500. I wish it was 2,500. Buy tons of it. And now I know from obviously if I'm starting the bot around here, I've got a nice low as well. So it's about 19.3. So let's put 19,300 in there as my low. I can set up as many grids as I want. So if I was to say, let's have 8 grids in there. And then obviously this is my test account, so it's got just a few hundred US dollars in there. And then what I would do is set that up. You'd also got your advanced options in here. Oh, one thing to mention actually, you've got arithmetic and geometric. So you can say I want them separated by sort of eight orders separated arithmetically. So basically it would divide that and the price by 8 and give you those grids in there. You could do geometric 8 and it will do it as a percentage rather than arithmetic, which is the dollar value. And then in here you can set your trigger price, so as it hits a certain level, that's when it would start triggering the bot. You can set your stop at the top and your stop at the bottom, so if it just gets out of the range, just blasts off, then obviously at that point there you'd want to get out of your grid bot strategy and it would just stop working. But while it stays within those two ranges, it will just keep buying and selling and buying and selling as you go. So this feature is really good for the sort of trade that just doesn't have the time to sit in front of the PC. I think I've got one set up on my spot grid here. This again was just a small one that I set up earlier just to illustrate how it all works. Let's get rid of that. And this one here you can see, let's just open this one up if I click on it. Let me see if it will show some nice details in here. So you'll see the same sort of thing on the futures. You'll see that it's obviously gone up and down. There's the buys and the sells, and this one was only I think a few $1,000s I put in here, but you can see that obviously it's taken profits as it's gone up and as it's gone down in this range since I set it off, and just leave it running. Really, you can see here's one completed buy and then another sell. You just leave it running and come back to it. You know that you're safe with your stops. You know how much risk you've put on. So it's a really nice strategy to just sit there and allow the whole Binance system to do it all for you. Oh, you can see here, here's the sort of ranges that I put in for this whole range. So it would be nice if I could make this bigger, but here we go. Anyway, so you can see that it will buy and sell, and as it goes up, it will sell into these orders at the top, and then as it goes down, it will buy into these, and it'll just keep, as you move up, it will move the next buy up, and it'll move the next buy up, or it will go down, it will move the next sell down. So it'll constantly be readjusting to make sure that there's the 8 orders there, allowing you to buy and sell. What else can I say about this? So yeah, let's just switch back to over here. One thing I do like to do, as I said at the weekends, is to have that range around the CME, because you tend to find that it, especially when you're in the range already, that it tends to sort of oscillate around that CME level. And you can see here, if I'd set my bot up with sort of the low around here, and just put grids in here. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you set it down here or not, it will automatically adjust and add the cells in all the way up. And you can see that it's just fluctuated around, and I expect it to probably come back down to around the CME level again by the end of the day. And then obviously I can stop my bot if I want to, and wait and see what happens once CME actually opens. If it starts trending again, or if I have to wait until the Monday morning or Monday afternoon my time when the US markets open to see how the direction and how the US markets sort of give us some indication of where we're going. But this is a really nice range, and you tend to find, as I say, you get a nice big trending move, and then you get the range set. And once you've got the range set, grid bots are great to just leave running. So anyway, I thought I'd give you that sort of snippet and show you how I sometimes spend my weekends while I'm not in front of the PC, just letting the system do the work for me. If you like this sort of content, then please give me a sort of thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't got a Binance account, I'll put my referral link down below, and if you want to sign up under that, that'd be great. I think we both get some benefits from doing that. So yeah, please comment if there's any questions, or if you've got any additional things you want me to do videos on, let me know. Thanks a lot.